Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my top 5 tips for successfully transitioning to college. So if you or someone you know is preparing to start their first year in college, please keep watching. I have 5 tips that I believe are the most important for helping rising freshmen or rising first year students be successful in their transition to college. The first is to figure out your method of planning. A lot of students in high school don't use any kind of planner or calendar. They simply keep track of all their assignments in their head. Trust me when I say you will not be able to do that in college. You will be taking anywhere from maybe 4 to 7 classes depending on your program and your course load, and there is no way for you to keep track of all of that. So whether that's a paper planner, a desk calendar, a calendar on your laptop or your phone, you need to figure out what method is going to work for you. For me, when I was in college, I used a paper planner and I also used a desk calendar in my dorm. That tip then feeds into the next tip, which is go through the syllabi for your classes. In high school, a lot of times on the first day of school, your teachers will go through the syllabus with you. That is probably not going to happen with your college professors. Instead, they're going to give it to you, or they're going to tell you where to find it on their website or the course website, and that's it. They may mention a couple of things that are the most important takeaways, but they're going to just expect that you read and understand the policies and the procedures. So you need to make sure you understand the most important policies, things like attendance, grades, and the weight for different types of assignments, tests, quizzes, projects, that sort of thing, late assignment policy, and other major policies. So you want to make sure that you highlight those in your syllabi. Do not email your professor about a simple question relating to the course policy and procedures without looking at your syllabi first, because a lot of professors will email you back and say it's in the syllabus. That's it. So I recommend highlighting those important things so that you can refer back to them. And I suggest keeping the syllabus for each class somewhere where you can access it easily. If you have a folder or a binder for each class, make sure that your syllabus is in the front and easily accessible. The other thing you want to do when you're going through your syllabus for each class is to mark out all of your assignments in your calendar. That way you already have them saved, you already have them written down, and as you're coming up on them, you'll see that in your calendar. Your professors are not going to constantly remind you about a project that's coming up. In fact, most of your professors will have a table in the syllabus with all the dates of major assignments, and that's it. They're not really going to mention much about them except for, they might say, hey, don't forget you have a test next class. So you want to make sure that you are mapping out those assignments and keeping track of them. Tip number 3, make sure you go to your professor's office hours. Now, obviously things are going to be a little bit different with COVID this year, but a lot of professors are still having office hours, either in person or virtually, depending on both, depending on the professor. For me, I'm doing one date of online drop-in Zoom office hours and one day of in-person when I'm on campus. So the great thing about office hours is it gives you an opportunity to get to know your professor and to allow your professor to get to know you. This gives you the chance to learn about their research, learn about their experiences, and express your interests as well. You do not have to go to office hours with a question about your assignment or your homework. If you have a question about your assignment or your homework or your test grade, then yes, you should go to office hours. But you should be going anyway, at least a couple of times. For me personally, there are a number of examples of where I went to office hours, I built a relationship with the professor, and as a result was given a B- in a class where I should have gotten a C. So it can be very helpful. The other thing is, if you find that your professor is doing research on a particular topic that interests you, when they go to look for research assistants or interns, they'll already know that you're an option and that you're interested in their research because you've shown that initiative. Number 4, communicate with your academic advisor. Yes, they are your academic advisor, but they can help you with a number of things. They can refer you to services. They can make sure you know resources for different problems that you're facing. They can basically tell you where to go to get your other questions answered. I know that when my kids come to me with a question that's not related to academics, I know who to point them to. Oh, you need to talk to housing. This is who you should talk to. You need to talk to financial aid. This is who you should talk to. So use your academic advisor to your benefit. That's what they're for, is to help you. They're also knowledgeable about the policies, such as like changing degree plans, changing majors, declaring a minor, and they're going to help you through that paperwork. If you are not clicking with your academic advisor, you do not have to remain on their advising load. You have the right to request a different advisor. In fact, I did that my first year. I really did not click personality-wise with my advisor, and so I asked for a new one. I suggest you check your college's website, but also you can reach out to your undergraduate coordinator for your program. If the undergraduate coordinator happens to be your advisor, you can also reach out to the department head for your department and just ask them, you know, I'm really looking for maybe a different advisor. Can you help me with that? There is no shame in requesting a different one, so just don't feel embarrassed about that. Okay, you don't have to be stuck with one that doesn't work for you. And tip number 5, college is about more than just grades. And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive because the purpose of going to college is to prepare you for your field, but that's more than just letter grades and a GPA. This means that you need to get experience in your field. You need to learn how to network and build relationships. That is a super important thing that you should be learning in college. You should make sure that you are attending college-wide events, clubs, study abroad fairs, job fairs, any kind of opportunity that allows you to communicate with professionals in your field or your peers. It allows you to build up that experience with networking and communicating, and it allows you to be more confident in those abilities. You need to be well-rounded, right? We talk about how when you're preparing to go to college, you want to be a well-rounded student. Well, you want to come out of college being a well-rounded student as well. So that means you want to have those hard skills like your math and sciences and whatever's related to your majors, but you also want to have soft skills, communication, people skills, and things like that. I myself did not have the luxury of having an unpaid internship, because I could not afford to go without working. So I couldn't take an opportunity that was unpaid. But if you are networking with professionals, you're putting yourself out there, you're showing initiative and interest, then you're more likely to be given those opportunities for internships, okay, including paid internships. That is, in fact, an experience that I really can attest to. When I was an undergrad at my university, I worked really hard to show the professionals around me, my professors, that I cared a lot about what I was doing. I wanted to be very good at it. I took it seriously. And about 2 months before I was graduating with my undergraduate degree, I was contacted by a professor at my school who had an opening for a funded master's position. And so what that meant was he had the money to pay for the tuition and the health insurance for the grad student and to pay them a stipend as a research assistant, and that he was looking for a student who could do the research for him. And I was recommended to him by another professor who knew my work ethic and knew that I was interested in that kind of research. And so that is actually what allowed me to go to grad school for less than $3,000, which was the cost of my fees for one semester. So I was able to get a master's degree for $3,000, and I made money while doing it from my graduate assistantship. So I was still, or my research assistantship. So I was still able to pay my bills. I actually bought a house while I was in grad school, so it worked out fine. But none of that would have happened if I wasn't building my network, showing my initiative, and meeting professionals in the field and at my school. So make sure that you are building that network and putting yourself out there. So just to recap, top 5 tips for transitioning to college successfully. Figure out your method of planning to stay organized with your assignments. Go through your syllabi on the first day. Go to your professor's office hours. Use your academic advisor. And focus on being well-rounded, not just on your grades. If you have someone that you know who is a rising first-year student in college, I would love for you to share this video with them so that they can learn these tips as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Networking, building my... Well, okay. That they can get these tips and really make sure that they are using... I can't.